Boom. There we go. Fix this up. I don't know if everybody's on yet. How do you check if somebody's on? The other thing is, I don't know if it's the wrong way on the Instagram one, Maya.
No, hold on.
Oh, 3 viewers. Wow, 3 viewers. And we have 2 viewers on the Instagram one. I don't know if I'm sideways, guys, on the Instagram one, but on the YouTube one, I should be right side up. Hello, everyone. Wow, we have lots of people joining. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. So we just finished the movie. We premiered it live on YouTube. I hope you liked it. I hope you watched it. If you were there, it was a fun time. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I've been working on it for a while, so I thought I would do this live stream where I could just answer any questions you might have, because a whole bunch of people were just texting, me and my mom and asking stuff. So, I just figured I would answer all of the questions now. So if you guys have any questions or anything in the chat, go for it. And yeah, ask them. Wait, I should probably move this so I can see the YouTube chat. Sorry, people on Instagram. I've got 2 going at once. Okay, so to those of you who haven't seen it, the same link should just take you to the video, and now you can watch it however you want. You can watch it whenever. You can watch it now. You can watch it tomorrow. I think I'm going to keep it up for 2 weeks. I could probably keep it up for however long I want because I have all the rights and whatever. But because film festival seasons are starting to, start, I'm going to have to take it down eventually, just so that they can be exclusive or whatever. And you can't just watch the movie wherever. So the people actually have an exclusive reason to go to, to go to the festivals. I mean, if you could just watch it on YouTube. But anyways, I have some questions already, which I will answer. And yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, the link is still in my Instagram bio. And if you're watching this on YouTube Live, then it's the next video on the channel. So watch that first, I guess, or stay here. So I'm going to address some of the questions that I have. Question number 1 I got was, the one that a lot of people were asking about was, did Grant die at the end? So at the end, you hear the whistling on the path, and you see Grant, played by Mark Majewski, which I don't know if he's here anywhere, but what's it called? So he's on this path, and you hear the whistling again, and you don't really know what happens, but that last shot, if you're paying attention for the movie, when she plucks the weed, she plucks it with Grant's knife that you see him picking the lock with, and you see him, entering the gardener's house with. The gardener's name is Diana. We only say it once, but he uses that knife. It's shown, I think, 2 or 3 times. So if you're really paying attention, then yes, Grant disappears at the end and, essentially dies. I suppose, you never know at this point because you never showed the death, right? So who knows? Maybe there'll be a sequel where he comes back to life or something. But I don't do sequels. But anyways, yeah, so Grant did disappear at the end. If anyone was a bit confused, that's what that knife shot meant. Another question I had, hold on, let me see here. I am just literally looking this up on my mom's phone because now all of the moms are texting me and asking my mom questions. So I am just going to inadvertently answer some of these questions. Oh, the cat. Aha. So, to some of you guys who may have read the script or have seen an earlier draft of the movie or have been following, or just been my friend, you might have heard about the fact that I got a dead cat this summer to be in this movie. Basically, I found this biology website where you can buy preserved specimens. So the stuff that you see when you're dissecting frogs in school or whatever. And I purchased a rat, which you see in the movie, and a cat. which was, I couldn't even believe that you could buy that. But anyways, I bought a dead cat, and in the script originally, it was supposed to, how do you call it? When Grant was in the basement and he was, Mark's character, when he's down in the basement, he finds the meat in the bag, and he makes the connection. Oh, she grinds up the people and she puts it in the soil. Originally, in that scene, if you look closely on the right, there's a fridge, and when you open he opened the fridge in the original script, and when he opened it, there was a dead cat inside. It was going to be this awesome, creepy jump scare. I was so excited about that for the longest time. I was like, oh yes, I bought this dead cat off of this website, and I had everything ready, and it was great, and I had it all set up, and then but when I was editing it, there was so many problems that came about. Like I tried it in many different ways, but it just didn't really work. Because, well, first of all, it wasn't really scary, be that the way that I shot it or the way that it was written or whatever. It was just kind of, like, okay, what? You'd be like, oh, wow, that's really cool that you got a dead cat for his movie, but it didn't really scare you. And it was quite literally just a jump scare that was stupid because, in the way that it was shot, Grant, Mark's character, wasn't really scared. He just opened it and he took a picture of it, and then, the audience gets scared. So it was like, that's kind of cheap. And I tried it in a million different ways. Obviously I tried it with just a jump scare and then misdirect and this, and there was like a million different ways of trying it, but none of them worked. And I was like, how am I going to get this cat to work in the movie? But after a while, just came to the conclusion that maybe you don't need to include it because the movie is kind of stronger without it. And that way, it moves a little quicker, and it just makes more sense because instead of throwing the big thing at you like, oh, she puts the meat in the soil, and then we say, oh, and by the way, there's a dead cat in the fridge. It's kind of like, what? Isn't the meat kind of the more important thing, right? And it's just kind of redundant. So I figured, oh, whatever. So just do one of them, and the meat was more important to the story because you established that she kidnaps children or whatever. So there you go. That's the first thing. Oh, next. Oh, does you have a question? Oh, there's on the Instagram and on the YouTube. If you just click on my YouTube channel, it's like the first thing. Hello, Mom. Okay. Anyways. Sorry, yeah, because I have your phone. I'm answering the questions off of this. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, that was the thing about the cat. And then what else do we have here? Cat. Oh, there's something about the whistling. So yeah, the whistling was a clock chimes of Big Ben or whatever you call it. Right? Ding, 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 ding. I don't know. I just tried a bunch of things. I tried whistling that was just kind of, creepy for the sake of being creepy. That didn't really have a melody to it. Tried a bunch of, royalty-free stuff. All sorts of stuff. But then just with that last song that plays over the credits, that I really, really digged and I got the rights to, it had the ding, 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 ding at the end. And it was like, okay, well, now we have to tie this into the movie somehow. And then we just said, oh, why don't we make that the whistling? So, all right, let's do that. And then, suddenly it's a motif in the movie. And you recognize it, right? It's something that when it comes back later, you're like, oh, that's the whistling from before. So we do it 4 times, right? We do it at the beginning. We do it at the, when she notices that the gardener's whistling. We do it when Grant walks up and starts whistling and then does that big, intense, slow motion stare-off thing. And then we do it when Grant is on the path and it's just, oh, he's meeting his doom. Okay, hold on. Let me ask sorry, guys. I tilted it sideways. I don't know if it's sideways now, but I have some questions in the Instagram chat. Was it a real dead cat? Yes, it was a real dead cat. Instagram and YouTube. It was used for dissecting, I figured, hey, if some university students are going to take this cat and slice it up and, you know, take out all its organs and then, you know, throw it in a bucket with all the other dead cats, maybe it would just make more sense for me to buy it, get a quick shot of it, and then, you know, pay its respects, give it a proper funeral, which I did, and I had, you know, a nice proper funeral for this cat. So, I mean, it really is just too bad that it didn't make it into the movie. It would have been cool. It didn't work, but, you know, the cat's memory will forever be remembered by the movie crew. And yeah, we call them Tom and Jerry, the cat and the rat. So the rat's still in it, the rat is in it, but the cat is only for those who, you know the, you know, secret things. Okay, sorry, tilted the screen again here for the Instagram thing. We got everyone saying hi Abby. I am sideways. Damn it. Sorry, it's just because I'm charging my phone because it's really low battery. So I'm just gonna hold it. How's that? Okay. Then it says, was it real dead cat? Somebody asked, how did you come out with this idea? Oh yeah, what was it based on? Where did it come from? Was the meat inside the soil real flamingo meat? Okay, let's start from, oh, thank you for the hearts, Instagram people. And on YouTube, we have another question that was, what was the swamp? Okay, so I'm going to address these one by one. So we're going to start with the first one, which is, how'd you come up with this idea? Very good question, Kuba. So when I was during the quarantine, it was really scary at first, but then when things started to get better, and it was like the first wave was over, and like, you know, stores were opening and whatever, I got this bike, which is the bike you see in the movie. Yes, we called it the Simpmobile while we were recording because it's, you know, a goofy bike, but like, make fun of it all you want. That thing can ride. Like, you can go up hills so easily. So anyways, I got that bike, and I just spent a lot of time in the like late spring, early summer biking around my neighborhood, and I saw all of these paths, and these paths were like so creepy, this like weird creepy way. I would listen to like soundtracks from old movies, like Bernard Herrmann music in particular, like Psycho and Vertigo stuff. And like, I just looked at this path and I was like, wow, like there's something so beautiful but so creepy about it. And the fact that like the people who you see walking down these paths, each of them kind of have their own story that they don't say. And, you know, they hide things and they have their own secrets. They have lies and they have these facades. And I was like, I want to make a movie something like that, you know, similar to Rear Window or like Disturbia, or, you know, movies like that, where it's like, you know, it has that thing where it's like, oh, the most, or a Double Indemnity, where it's like the people who are most normal sometimes are the most deranged. So obviously, I wanted to, in the beginning, I wanted the whole thing to take place on these paths. But the more that I worked with it, the more I was like, okay, I need to actually start thinking about a story here. So eventually came the idea of, oh, what if there's this gardener who, you know, who would kill the people? And okay, what would you do as a gardener? Well, you would hide the bodies around the neighborhood. And well, was this based on anything? I don't want to get sued, but let's just say a certain serial killer in the Toronto, Greater Toronto area served as some inspiration. But hey, disclaimer at the end says all characters are fictitious, right? So, anyways, yeah. So that came about, and then later, you know, I was like really stuck, and I was like, shoot, like what does she actually like do? Like, what's her thing? And then I came up with the idea of like a weed, which is something that's like evil, that if you pluck the weeds, you're essentially ridding the world of its imperfections. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then that led to a bunch of ideas, and then that led to like the whole uses dead bodies as fertilizer, and this and this. And I was like, you know, the thing about the idea is that it took so long to come up with the whole thing, because obviously there's this initial inspiration that's like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. But the more you go along, the more it changes, and the more you have to abandon your baby from the beginning that you loved so much and you wanted to make it just like that. You wanted to give people this feeling, but the more you you go with the project, you realize, okay, this stuff doesn't really work, and you have to change it. One of the big things that you guys can recognize is the cat, right? Because the cat was like, oh my god, right? Like, he's a dead cat that he purchased just for the movie. And it's so creepy and it's so cool. But, I had to go because it just didn't really work for the story. And obviously, you were thinking, oh, well, I would like to see it with the cat. I could show it to you with the cat if you want, but it's just kind of, it's like, what? It's really out of left field. Okay, so I hope that that answers your question, Kuba. And also, yeah, yours, Natalie. It's kind of a twofer. So I think I answered both of them. Was the meat inside the soil real flamingo meat? Well, yes. No. Okay, it wasn't real flamingo meat. It was ground beef that my dog eats. So, I just grabbed some raw meat, and then, we put it in this bag, and we had, Mark take it out 50 times, and then use the best take. And then, yeah, so, that was it. You just kind of cheated that. So it was real meat, but it was not real flamingo meat. Next question. What was the swamp? Thank you, Anthony. Sorry, I saw it also on the YouTube, but it takes a while to get through these. So in the beginning, there was more with the love story with like Aiden and Kenzie's character, James and Michelle, and I wanted to make it that he wanted to tell her basically that he loves her, and that he's loved her for a while. And in the very original draft of the script, like way back in like June or May or something like that, they weren't really together. They were just kind of, he was the ultimate simp, as we called him, who, really wanted to say that, what do you call it? He loved this girl. And then, there was all these other scenes, but the more I stayed with it, and the more you watch it over and over, it's like, hey, it doesn't really matter that he needs to have this love thing. So, and it's almost cooler if he wants to tell her that he loves her at the beginning. And I felt that it was kind of clear that he wants to tell her that he loves her. And the swamp, I guess the swamp was kind of poor writing because we never really came back to it. But it was just this idea of, I need to be in a special place to tell you that I love you, right? And then in the end, when it comes and all this time has passed and all this stuff has happened, it's like, whoa, what does that even mean anymore? So again, that's another thing that had to kind of be trimmed down, not because of any restrictions or anything, not because the acting was bad or because the shots were bad or anything. It was just the story didn't need that, at least I feel. Maybe some of you guys would have different opinions. But yeah, so the swamp doesn't really matter. It was just kind of a vehicle for saying, I really, I love you. Next question. Well, you did your best to the cat. Thank you, Kuba. Okay. Did you buy the tent at Canadian Tire? No, I did not. It is Eva Wojciechowski's tent. My ciocia Eva, who we used that tent many times as kids. And then the funny thing is that, so obviously we shot all of the main stuff in the summer. Last summer, like the end of August. We shot all the stuff at the house and, all the stuff where he's like doing the whistling and this and, all of that. And a bunch of the stuff that we cut too. But the actual thing with the girls, it took a while to, first of all, procrastinating. And second of all, just getting things together and, figuring it out. So that was shot in like, what do you call it? Like December, early December or something. Or November or something, late November. And that was the first weekend it snowed, and it was like, shoot, what are we going to do? So I just set up the tent in my basement, just barely fit. It almost was scraping the ceiling. And then, we got a light and did all this stuff, and the tent itself was just like, really great for diffusion or whatever. So so it was great. And then, and so I'm not sure if the tent was purchased at Canadian Tire, but the tent even has its own backstory. Okay, what's the next question? Was Mark in the movie a secret FBI agent? Very good question. No, he was not. Oh, cancel. Okay, he was not a secret FBI agent. I don't know, he was just a guy who's got nothing better to do, Just the kind of guy who isn't really interested in all of the party stuff and, doing this and that and the stuff that essentially the James character the guy who rides the bike and, you know, is essentially Michelle's boyfriend slash, you know, guy who loves her. He's more of somebody who plays by the rules and, what do you call it? Just, yeah, conforms to the world. Whereas Grant doesn't really care about that sort of stuff. And he's like, what? I want to actually do something here. So I wouldn't say he's a secret FBI agent. But maybe, you know, maybe he is. But yeah, I just thought he was just a kind of, you know, weird dude who sits in his basement, eats Chinese, and, you know, wants to actually do something and make a difference, or, you know, do some stuff. Okay, very awesome. Awesome film. Very impressed. Thank you, Jimmy. I'm very glad that you liked it. Yeah, this was the biggest movie I've made so far. I remember, Jimmy, when back in the days when we made Future Hero with Matt Zunick. You were our sound guy. Those were good times. Kyle says, great work, Nick. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it. Okay. Then Matthew says, what was the hardest part of filming? Ooh, he says it twice. So the hardest part of filming, well, I'd probably say it would be like scheduling stuff, because, you know, you're always constantly in a rush. You've got all this stuff you need to shoot, and you have all these ideas, but like the real world is like a real reality that you have to face, whether it be, okay, there's not enough hours in the day. You can't get some of these shots that are in your head because they're like impossible to do, whether it be because you don't have the, you know, camera work for it, or you just don't have the time, or you don't have the space, or you don't have this or this. And like, you know, you have to do all these things that you don't even think about. Like, okay, well, we need to provide lunch, and, you know, we can't be working the actors to the bone. You have to give breaks. And it's like, you need to shoot at this specific time of day or whatever, like, you know. So there was all this pressure of all this stuff that you have to think about. That's not just about, you know, creativity, which is, you know, ideally what it would be, because obviously with a small crew, and especially during COVID, very small crew, you know, you kind of have to wear many hats, and you have to not only be able to direct people and try to get the best thing, but you also have to try to like manage your time and say, okay, shoot, we have like 3 hours until the sun sets. We have to shoot like 5 scenes. What are we going to do? Okay, we can shorten this scene. Doesn't really need to be that long. We can turn 4 shots into 1 shot and just move the camera, and then boom. Okay, you can shoot stuff on a different day. Okay, that's always an option. You can get rid of scenes entirely. You can change dialogue and this and this and this. But like, it's just probably the pressure is the most difficult part of just trying to do everything, trying to wrap your head in, yeah, do all that. But it's also the thrill, because, I don't know, it's lots of fun. Because at the end of the day, you push through and you get it done, right? And whatever you get is what you get, right? And yeah, obviously it's not what you were thinking, and it changes slightly along the way. But yeah, I'm happy with it. Okay, wow, we got a lot of people who joined. Hello, everybody. We got some actors in the chat too. Aiden is here. Aiden played James in the movie. We got Jonah, who was our sound guy. He is here. Who else you got in here? This is the Instagram one. I don't know how you can even check on the YouTube one. But we got Keegan. Keegan helped out with the edits. Also, Kuba and Adam were in Bootless Grief, which is another movie you can watch on my YouTube channel. We've got Anthony too, is in that. We've got lots of people. We've got, Victor is here. Hi, Victor, from Whitehall. Yeah. Matt Zunick. Yeah, welcome, Matt. Welcome, everybody. We got lots of people. Hello, everybody. Okay, so back to the questions. I missed one. Where are we? Bravo, great movie. Thank you, Adam. What was the most expensive part? Gee, I don't know. So, I mean, everything kind of adds up, right? Because getting food was pretty expensive, but I don't know if that was more expensive than like getting props, right? I wonder what was the most expensive part. Maybe it was, what? House rental. Oh, yeah. Oh, of course. Thank you, Juan. House rental was the most expensive part. That house, so most of the like exterior stuff was shot around my neighborhood, right? Oh, sorry, that's my dog. You know, like I used my house at least 4 times, right? It was the house when they're at the side. It was the house. Well, it was the same house when she's like digging with the hoe, and Mark comes up, Grant comes up and starts whistling, and they have that like slow motion stare off. It was also the house when you look through the window of the party scene. It's the same house, and there's a bunch of other stuff, you know. Yeah, my house was used many times, but that really like creepy Diana's house, like her house, the gardener's house, was something that was really like from earlier on. We were like, okay, we need to get the perfect house for this, and it was hard to find one. So eventually I went on this website where you can it's called Set Scouter, where you can actually find like movie sets that you can rent out. And, you know, I had this idea for this house, which was like, oh, it looks like a Victorian house. And then Max, who was our DOP, had this idea for this house out in a farm. I'm like, oh, it's never going to work. It's in the middle of like nowhere. And like, no, I think the other house is the one, dude. So we go out to scout it, and I'm like, yeah, this is definitely the house. This is definitely the house. And he's like, wait, I booked us for that one in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, I don't think it's going to be the one. But sure enough, we get there, and it's great. And it was a toss-up, but in the end, I realized, oh my God, like the interior of the house is so cool. So eventually we went through it. We went through that one. I'm very glad we did. It just looks so cool, and yeah. But it cost, I forget how much it cost. I think it cost like $700 or something for the entire day. But I won this festival just previously, like this climate change video contest, where I won $2,500. So I was willing to, you know, pay a little more in that area, because it really goes a long way, right? Like that, I don't think the movie would have been the same if when they're in Diana's house, it would have been just like a modern kitchen, right? It needed to be like an old house. And probably some of you guys didn't even realize that it was on a farm. If you look really closely, you can kind of see in the shot where Mark/Grant walks up to the door, and like it cuts to like him opening the window. If you look in the back, you can kind of see there's like a field. It's like, oh, what the heck? And there was a horse. There was a horse in the background. And the horse was awesome, and you could see like we had a picture with this horse. Oh shoot, I don't know if I had it. I think it's downstairs. I had this scrapbook of all these pictures, but there was this horse, and it was so funny because we were shooting this shot and just looking in the background. Like, what the, is that a horse? And it was the funniest thing ever. So yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm going to go to the YouTube chat one for a second, because there's been some questions I have not answered. Okay, what was in the box with the lock? Good question. Great work, so well done. What's in the box? Okay, we have a bunch of people asking about the box. Then we got Unexpected Gamer. Hello, Unexpected Gamer. 911, what's your emergency? Can I have 2 cheeseburger with large fries and a Coke? Okay, no sauce, no thank you. Okay, don't call us. Well, all right, I can get you 2 cheeseburgers and a Coke, but yeah, sure. It'll take a few minutes to deliver. Okay. Anyways, okay, the box. Okay, so the box was a big question. Basically, in the script, I knew there had to be something that brings them back to that house, because, you know, he needs to go and he needs to find a piece of damning evidence that's like, okay, we know that she's up to something and she's not just a regular gardener, right? Because up until that point, she could have just been a regular gardener, right? She could have just, you know, been whistling the same melody. But when he breaks in and he finds the meat, it's like, okay, so she's up to something, and she's not who she says she is, right? And, you know, there was all the adventures in the house, there's the foot scene and this and this. But I knew there had to be something that pushed the plot forward, and it was like, okay, there needs to be something that leads them back because the whole idea in the beginning was to have him want to go back, but Kenzie's character, Michelle, who it was her whole like idea to figure out this crime or whatever, and essentially figure out what happened to her friend, like that it was ironic that she wanted to go back, and Grant, this like nobody who they just kind of hired to help them, is the only one who actually cares. So I was like, oh, okay, that was like a very interesting idea from the beginning. So I was thinking, okay, what could lead him back? Maybe he finds like some sort of a bracelet that we established early on. Oh, the bracelet was missing or something or whatever. And it was like, went on and on with ideas, bouncing back and forth on so many different people. And then one night I was on a call with Max, or DFP, and I was so like frustrated, and it was like pretty late. And I was just like, I don't know. What if there's just a box and she opens it and she just starts moaning, and then it's like really weird and you don't know what's inside the box. And it's just like a really weird scene. It's like, oh my God. And then the next day, that was such a sick idea. And it was like, oh yeah, it's so cool if you don't show anything and it's just what's inside the box is a mystery. And it's like, okay, well, we need to go back and figure out what's inside that box, right? It's no longer like a question of, so what's inside the box is kind of up into interpretation, something that makes her go crazy and, either brings her back to the killings or whatever. And like, so one interpretation is maybe that it's the other half of the stuffed animal. Sure. Except I came up with the idea of the stuffed animal after the idea of the box, so it probably wouldn't be able to fit. But sure, if that's your interpretation, whatever. Maybe it's a portal to hell or something. I don't know. It's up to you, right? The idea is that it's not really important what's inside. It's important what it means and what it represents, right? That there's this mysterious thing that Grant wants to go figure out what it is, and nobody else wants to pursue because they're too scared. So yeah, what's inside the box? I don't know. I don't even know what's inside the box. So originally it was going to be a bracelet, but then the bracelet was just a stupid idea. So I was too lazy to come up with what was inside the box, so I left it a mystery. And I think it's better that it's a mystery. 100%. That's one of the best parts of the movie, I think. So that's what's inside the box. Okay, let me catch up on the Instagram ones, because I answered a few YouTube ones. Bravo, great movie. Okay, it was the most expensive part. We got You Are Such a Sexy Man. Thank you, boys. So how long did it take you to make the whole movie with post-production and finishing touches? We got Did Kenzie Die? Did you put me and Xander in the credits? Oh, shoot. Oh, I got to put you guys in the credits. I think I gave you a special thanks, Matt. But yeah, Matt and Xander, way back when I was trying to put the pieces together, they just showed up to my house and we just biked around, and yeah, that was way back. And yeah, so I think I put you in the special thanks, but I'm not sure. If not, shoot, you will forever be in the special thanks in our hearts. Good thing to do is have a schedule right now. University TV and CEO. Whoa, what the heck? You're a CEO? I had no idea. It was a perfect choice of home. Have you ever thought of doing a zombie film? Not really. What's in the box? Well, yeah, I don't know either. I feel like it's teeth or something in the box. Maybe it could be teeth in the box. That's a good question. Or it could be a finger or something. Or maybe it's, I don't know. Could be anything, really. Could be a memento. Maybe it's not even related to her at all, right? Have you ever thought of doing a zombie film? No, I've not. I don't know. To be honest, I haven't seen very many zombie movies that, Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 boys. Jonah, Aiden, Keegan, all of you guys. That's, thank you for showing me that movie. That is probably the best zombie movie I've seen. But yeah, I don't know. I've just I like stuff that can actually happen, Stuff that's like real people choices, and even though obviously there's lots of stretches of the movie, and it's like, okay, there's probably things you could poke out and say, oh well, this is something that might not happen, blah 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 blah. But yeah, I think that wait, what was I even just talking about? It was a zombie film. Yeah, maybe if the right idea comes, sure. But right now, I don't know. So did Kenzo die in the end? I don't think so. When she fell down in that one shot where she just kind of like goes down to the ground, that was by complete accident. That shot was played in reverse in between takes. Basically, like, because we were trying to get her into this mood of like, being like crazy, tripping out, whatever that we had earlier. And just like, okay, lean over and take a few breaths, right? Like hyperventilating or whatever. And then roll the camera and like, are you ready? Yeah. So she gets up and we're like focusing the camera. And then I'm looking through that stuff. I'm like, oh, what if you play that in reverse and you get like all this crazy focus stuff and she just goes down? I'm like, whoa, that's cool. So I don't think she dies. I think that she's just kind of really guilty and like realizes that it's happening again and that it's kind of her fault. And so her going down is quite literally her falling down from where she was in the beginning. That she's no longer blissfully innocent, that now she has essentially the blood of another person on her shoulders. Daniel Farrer. Hey Nick, I just saw your movie and it was great, man. A lot of thrill for real. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel and I go way back to Holy Rosary, and he was in My Jam, which was, that movie is great. Don't watch it. Actually watch it. It's funny, but yeah. Daniel, we made all these videos for Holy Rosary. That's like, I remember that. We were just watching them the other day. We were like, so Camilla, what is hope to you? What is hope? And that's great. Anyways, I'm glad you liked it, Daniel. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. There's a lot of questions. Okay. We got Cool Mama G. Where did you find the female lead, Kenzie Spolter? She was so great in that role. The cast was great. Will she be in any future projects? And will there be a sequel? I've seen that question a few times. I've seen a few questions about future projects. And I've seen a few questions about cast and about a sequel. So where'd you find Kenzie? Good question. I did this documentary for KW Glee because I was in KW Glee when I was younger, grade 9 or 10. I was in it for a while, and then I fractured my ankle, so I couldn't do it anymore. But that's when I worked a lot on movies and stuff. So then I came back that term for their 20th anniversary, or 20th term or whatever, and made a documentary. And Amanda, the lady who leads the KW Glee for singing and everything, said, hey, like, your interview Kenzie, she's great, and like, she'll have plenty of good stuff to say. So, I'm running this interview with Gabe, who also helped out on this movie. He did a lot of stuff. He probably has the most credits out of everybody. Because he did sound, and he helped out with the writing, and he's an executive producer. And he also he slated a bunch of scenes too. So I don't know if Gabe is here, but hi, Gabe. Thank you for everything. But yeah, so we were recording this Glee documentary. It was great. And I was like, oh, wow. Kenzie's just got this like energy that's really cool. And she just looks really cool on camera. And I'm like, I'll keep that in mind for any projects I have coming up. So I came up with this story. And then I had a bunch of ideas for people. And then Kenzie sent in this audition tape to, shoot, I don't have the quotes there, but my favorite movie of all time. Oh, here we go. Check this out, guys. Vertigo. Best movie ever made. No cap. And yeah, I had her do this scene, and I was like, oh, that's so good. And yeah, I just was like, okay, I know that Kenzie is the one. So I hit her up and said, Kenzie, you got the part. So it was great. And the casting, so I had auditions where I just had a whole bunch of people from all over who I thought were great, and everyone did so great. Like, it was insane how many talented people showed up. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy, because this could go a million different ways, and like all these people are very talented. But in the end, I just saw that like the chemistry and like the looks and the way that the three leads acted was just perfect for this role. I knew I need these three guys for my movie. So Kenzie I met through Glee. Aiden, who maybe is still watching, I don't know. He was Jonah's friend. And Keegan, who maybe is also watching, made this awesome movie called Suicide King, which is also on YouTube if you want to see it. And I watched it. Jonah showed it to us, to me and all the other boys, like Nathan and a whole bunch of people. We watched it, and it was like, oh, this is awesome. And we were like, I was thinking, and I was like, this Aiden kid has, he's got this energy, right? And then shot him a text. He showed up to the auditions. He was our last audition. And then I was just like, oh my God, this guy can just say a line, and it's just like real, you know? It's just so real. And yeah, I was like, I know that Aiden is this James character that I have in my head. So I instantly knew. I think I instantly knew on Aiden. And there were a bunch of choices for Grant, but Mark, who I've worked with on Bootless Grief and on Unwrapped, another movie I made. And yeah, we've just been friends for the longest time. In the end, I went with him, and I also just knew that he could bring this character that is very special. So that's how the casting worked. Will Kenzie be in any future projects? Oh, I hope so. If she is interested, then yeah, of course. But the thing about future projects is that I find that addressing the whole sequel thing and future projects thing, I find that I can't make the same movie twice. Because another question that a lot of people have been asking on YouTube and on Instagram, will you make a sequel? Is I find that I can't really make sequels because when I tell a story, I feel that it's already been told. Maybe you could adapt that story and make it into a feature or something, and like make it longer and explore the characters more and do this or do that or whatever. But what do you call it? I figured that that the story is kind of finished, and that the next story has to be a sequel to that in many ways, like thematically, or like, you know, what's it about, or what I'm exploring. It kind of has to be a sequel in that sense. But I don't think I can make an In the Weeds 2, because I just feel like it's done. Like, Grant is gone. Michelle is kind of scarred. James is just kind of has said what he needs to say, and that just kind of feels like, well, he's got it off his chest, and now what? And Diana just keeps on going. So I don't know where it goes. So the next movie has to be something different. In many ways, it'll probably be a sequel, and like thematically or whatever. But obviously, it's going to be different characters and everything. So yeah, Kenzie for sure is on the top of the list for people returning to the movies. So, oh my God, questions on questions on questions. So yeah, any ideas on future projects? I have a few ideas for characters, but I don't have story yet. I think it would be really cool to do like a flat arc movie where it's like somebody starts in a particular place and ends in that same place because it's just easier to be there instead of actually trying to change or trying to do something different. They just find that it's easier to be, how can I say it? This is just easier to be isolated than to actually try. It's kind of like the whole COVID thing. You know how like you say, oh, I wish it was like the good old days when you could be with friends and do this and have parties and, you know, do this. But when you're actually having parties and you're with friends, it's never as simple as that. It's complicated and there's so many mixed emotions. And it's actually just easier to be locked up away in your room, you know? I don't know. That's just the start of an idea. I don't know where it could head. But yeah, you guys are the very first people to learn about that idea. Okay. Any ideas for future projects? Okay. So yeah, that's the idea. What was your favorite shot in the movie? Oh, easy. Okay, so I have favorite scenes and I have favorite shots. No cap, favorite shot in the movie is during the sunset scene when when Kenzie walks off into the distance, and Mark is saying, "Oh, James, we need to figure this out." He says, "James, she's using you, okay?" I hadn't had the whole movie memorized. James, we're so close to figuring this out. Whatever was in that box, and then it cuts to that close up of Aiden/James, and he just looks off, and then he looks back at Mark, and there's something in that look that's just so cinematic that I'm like, oh my god, it just says it all, and it's just so raw. And it's just like you can feel what he's going through, and he doesn't say a word, and I love that he's more quiet in the movie now because earlier there was more about the love story, but now it's just you come back to James and it's like, who is this guy? Like, I want to know more about him, and he's kind of got his own dilemma, right? So that's my favorite shot. Hey man, absolutely love when the shot with the gardener frozen still. It was killer. Ah, yes. I'm very glad you like that one. That was also an accident because we shot it many times of like, so you're going to turn off the faucet and then you're going to look up at the ceiling and then you're going to grab the shears and you're going to go. And we did it a bunch of times, but in the end, what ended up happening is in between takes when we're like, okay, turn the faucet on, and she turns the faucet on. Just when we weren't even acting, we weren't even doing it, there was just something so creepy about the way that she turned it on, and it had like no real reaction. So I played that in reverse again, and just had her turn it off and then stop. And the other thing is, you could see like the boom operator moving. I don't know if it was Jonah or Gabe for that shot. So I just did some camera trickery to mask them out. So the shelf where you could see the reflection was just a still frame. So if you look really closely, you could see that. But yeah, so that shot was another accident, and just added a digital zoom on it and whatever. But yeah, it was a very good shot. I'm glad you liked that, Alejandro. Okay. Are you entering this short film into contest? Yes, I have entered it into 20 festivals already. So that's a bunch of high school ones and ones for university students. I mean, fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. Probably not going to win many of them, but, I've had some luck in the past, so we'll see. But we've already been accepted to one, so hooray. I'm going to send you guys the link to that, but basically how it works is, I think whoever has the most views on the video, wins the contest, so it's great. So yeah, that was first selection already, hooray. But I'll keep you guys updated, but we're not going to be finding out about other ones for a while. So, okay, quickly. Tim Kotrowski sent a request to be in your live video. Yeah, sure, Timmy, do you want to be in it? I don't know if he's still here, but yeah, whatever. Timmy, say in the chat if you still want to be in it. But yeah, sure. Okay. Will there be a sequel? I already answered that. Rip the people who did not get the credit. They got killed by him. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Matt and Xander, I think you're in the credits. But if you're not, I shall put your names in the description. And also, if you did any work and realize that you're not in the credits, hit me up. I will add you to the credits. Kenzie Spoltor. Ooh, oh, look at this. Michelle is commenting. It says, oh, wait, just finished watching my jam. It was in my For You page. The thumbnail should be a meme. Hello from Peru. What the heck? Whoa, I have no idea anyone's even watching this from Peru. Instafilm544. Wow. Thank you for watching from Peru. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, obviously it's not, deep or serious or whatever, but it's just a good laugh. I made that in grade 9. It was hilarious. And yeah, it's crazy how young we all were. Me and all the actors you've seen later in other movies. Okay, now let's read Kenzie/Michelle's thing. It was so much fun to film that scene, the way it played out. Super cool. Oh, she's talking about the scene that we were talking about earlier where we had to get her into that, like she was about to cry and like, Michelle, which is my favorite sequence. So my favorite shot is the sunset one, but my favorite scene is from the point where he says, I love you, to the very end of the movie. Because it was just done in such a way that I was like, I felt like I was making something new. And it was, every time I watch it, I get chills. It's crazy. Second favorite would have to be the bike scene. But yeah, I could talk more about that, but I have lots of questions, so let me get through them. Oh, also, yeah, Kenzo, when we were shooting that, she almost, she was hyperventilating. It was crazy. It was like, because we're like, okay, you need to like, the trick to cry is like, if you like, what was it again? You have to like breathe through your nose and your mouth at the same time, as if you're yawning. But then instead, she just like started like breathing like really heavily, and then like was like kind of like almost hyperventilating. Like holy shit! And then in the end, it was so much better than just like fake crying or whatever, because it was so crazy and creepy and weird, and it was awesome. But after, she was like, I am never doing that again. It was crazy. I remember we shot that. We just had the camera rolling for like a good 9 minutes or something. It was crazy. There was one guy who like pulled up in his car. He's like, "Oh, can you take a picture of my car for Instagram?" And nobody even moved. We were just so in it. And that guy was like, "Okay." And he drives off. This was in the middle of the night, right? Will your movie be available in a cinema near me? Ah, well, if cinema's opened, then yes. I was planning on doing an actual premiere for this movie and also for Bootless Grief way back when, but unfortunately, it didn't really work out with COVID. If only we finished earlier when movie theaters were still open. But I would love to do a screening when they open up again and just kind of have, show it and have everyone show up. And yeah, we could show a bunch of stuff. We can show Bootless Grief. We can show the movies of all the people who helped out on it. We can show everything, right? I think it would be great. But maybe, who knows, some of the festivals that I submitted to, there will be a screening. So fingers crossed. I submitted it all over the place. So I don't know, Kenzie Spono, if you live in Kitchener-Waterloo or somewhere else, but fingers crossed, it'll be showing all over the place. Love the channel. Keep it up. The fake projector 12. Oh my god, I'm subscribing to you. I don't know who you are, but you are awesome. Wow, I cannot believe that I have a fan who has made a fake projector 12. Okay, I don't know. Sure. Oh, let's hope this COVID thing fast so we can make some Polish/Canadian collab. Sure. No, best scene is finding the body and the soul. Yeah, that was crazy. It's funny because when you show it to different people, they have different reactions. So when I showed it to my family, who saw it ahead of time before everybody else, and I showed it to a bunch of people, sometimes I just sent them the link. Other times I watched them watch it. I showed it to the cast. It's crazy seeing like the different scenes that people respond to. On certain viewings, people who just dead silent during the part where Grant is picking the lock and she pulls up in the car, and it was just complete silence. And at this screening, when I showed my family, the scene that blew their mind the most was when he pulled the meat out of the soil. It was like, oh my god! Like there was like a gasp in the audience. What? That was a bag of ground meat from my freezer that my dog would have eaten. I was like, I had no idea it was actually scary. So if any of you guys are scared, well, I did a good job, I guess. But don't be scared, because I just, I don't know, I just kind of did this by accident. Okay. Can you put the actors in the video chat to answer some questions? Yeah, if anyone's there. I don't know if Mark is here or if Kenzo's here. But if you guys want to join, go for it. Send a request to Nick to join with people. People want to hear from the actors. Let's do it. Okay. Yeah. So, wait, what is this? Is it here in this thing? Oh, I got some questions here. Oh, some of these questions I didn't read. What is your favorite kind of cheese? Very good question, Jonah. I don't know. Probably Parmesan cheese. It's a good cheese. What was your favorite scene to film? Oh, favorite scene to film. Probably, although every scene was fun to film. I think Nathan, I'm not even just, I'm not even getting brownie points here, but the best scene was when we were shooting with you and we were driving down that car and we were getting the bike scenes. That was just so much fun. It was crazy how we shot that. So we had some stuff from where we had our DOP Max, who was strapped with a seatbelt. the trunk of a van was open, and we were driving, and Nathan, who asked this question, was driving the van, and I was pulling focus, and we were moving at like all these speeds and whatever, and like we're saying, slow down, okay, speed up. We're focusing and doing all this crazy stuff, and they're acting, and there was all these funny, crazy stuff that happened. But yeah, anyways, okay, so Kenzo has requested, and also Timmy has requested. I'm gonna get Kenzo first. So YouTube people, right now, oh, shoot, how am I gonna do this? So YouTube people, on my Instagram, you can see Kenzo in the chat, but I'm going to turn up the volume so you can actually hear Kenzie. So accept request. Sorry, I've never done a live stream before. View requests. Invite. Let's see if she shows up. Okay. I requested this G. Okay. Kenzo, you there?
Yes. Hello.
Kenzie is here, YouTube people. Hi, Kenzie. Okay. All right. So we're answering questions, right?
Yes. I'm ready.
Okay. Let's scroll through the questions. I have a bunch on the YouTube, and you shall answer them. Hold on. Wait. Love the channel. Keep it up. If you guys have any questions for Kenzie, please ask them. Why haven't? Oh, I might as well ask you first, Kenzie. What was your favorite scene to shoot? Because that was the question.
My favorite scene to shoot. I feel like any scene that we were at the house in Cambridge, so the old lady's house, Diana's house. I think those were the most fun to shoot, especially the scene with Diana herself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was always. She was such a sweet lady in person, and then as soon as she flipped into the role, it was insane. And I also loved every scene that had to do with the bicycle. I thought that was really fun as well.
Oh,
I thought the bike was quite interesting. And especially the last scene where I say I'm going to leave essentially, and I leave on the bicycle with James. I thought that scene was always so like emotional for me to go through.
Yeah.
I really connected to Michelle at that moment, especially. I always felt connected to her, but there it was really, really strong. So I really love that scene. I think that was probably my favorite to shoot, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember when we were. So on that same day, we also shot the stuff where like Grant was like whistling or something, and we shot a bunch of stuff. But then we showed up at that place at this like path, one of the original paths from the idea, and we showed up there at 7 or something. We just drilled through, and we just kept practicing the script over and over and over again. And like cameras weren't even rolling. We were like the sun wasn't even setting. And we were just practicing. It was so cold too, even though it was the summer. And I have pictures, but like all of you guys were wearing like jackets that like, whoever had just a spare jacket, you guys were wearing it because it's so cold. And then the sun started setting. We're like, all right, let's start rolling. So we shot like all these different times, and it went in like all these different directions. But then the more we went, the more like real it became. And the shots we ended up using were all from the last 3 takes. Because in the beginning, it was all supposed to be in one shot. Remember, we had this like huge plan. We're like, okay, so we're gonna move the camera here, and then Jonah, you're gonna go here with the sound so that we can't see you, and then you guys are gonna walk over here, and then Mark, you have to walk on this side, and you have to like grab her at this moment, and be like Michelle, blah blah blah. And that scene was also very different in the script, by the way, because it was kind of stupid on my part. But anyways, yeah, so we went through it, and we just kept doing it over and over. But then I think my favorite take was the last take, when that was just, especially for you were so in it. And it was just like, okay. And then we, towards the end, we also decided, okay, let's get close-ups too. And that's where we got some really good angles that we ended up intercutting together. And it looked pretty seamless. Even though the light was changing so much. It's crazy because we were like, in the beginning, it was like a golden sunset, and then it was like an orange sunset, and then, it was the last stuff that we ended up using was like purpley, bluey, or orangey. I don't know, kind of a color. I don't even know what you call it. But yeah, so that was great to shoot and great to edit. And bike stuff. Yeah, we were just talking about that. But the bike stuff, yeah, so we shot it with, and then the night stuff, because it was from the side, we didn't do it from the trunk anymore. We did it from the side, just with the door open. And the other thing is, a lot of people ask me this, Kenzo, but how were you actually riding the bike?
Okay, so the bicycle, I assume it was a spot that was supposed to be meant for like a basket or maybe groceries that you would usually put on a bike.
Yeah.
And so it was this flat metal piece that was just on top of the bike with holes in it. So essentially, because I was wearing a dress, I had to sit on this metal piece at the front of the bike like I was riding a horse, like a princess back in an old film. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was, I was trying to balance at the same time. Aiden's trying to move the bike with my added weight on top of it. Basically, I was just sitting on a metal rod. Dress.
It was crazy.
To hold on for dear life. So, yeah.
Yeah, it took so long to like learn how to use it. But you guys freaking got in the hang of it. The other thing is one of the best bloopers of the movie. Maybe I'll post them, but they don't have any color. At least, yeah, maybe we can add color to them. But there was like two people riding, like we cut the camera and we look over and there are these two people riding on a bike, but they're riding on the same seat. And we're like, what the hell? Those guys have it all figured out. And then Nathan, who's driving the car, is like, yo, teach us how to do that. Or maybe it was Aiden, I forget. But like these guys were doing it so seamlessly on like the bike seat, and then meanwhile you're sitting on this like metal rod for groceries and whatnot. And yeah, but I think in the end it was pretty unique because I've never seen any movie, at least that I've seen, a shot like that, eh? So yeah, it was fun. Okay, hold on. Let's see what questions we have. Okay, I'm checking the Instagram questions, but okay. What was it like working with Nick? Kenzie? That's a question that we had.
Working with Nick.
Pretend I'm not here.
Was really quite the experience. It was like at some moments he was so serious, and at others he would suddenly just flip and be the funniest guy in the room at the same time. So I think it was when we were filming the scene where Diana's screaming at me, and I remember like being so into it. Really being terrified of this woman, and he's like, "You gotta get the axe," and he's like yelling at us, and then all of a sudden, he'd say like, you come up with a random line of, "Oh, this reminds me of Vertigo," or "Oh, this reminds me," and suddenly Nick would just completely change, and it would be so hilarious all of a sudden, and we try to keep a straight face, but it was just so much fun working with Nick because he was like a director while still being a friend at the same time, and it was really easy to get the project done while still not feeling like we were there for 20 hours. You know, it was just super easy to work together as a group, which I really, really loved about that.
True. Oh, the other great one was like, we were talking about like that scene where like Mark is like, oh, sing me the melody or whatever. We were like blocking at the scene. I'm like, okay, guys, we need to do it this way, and then you need to see this, and you need to see this. I'm like, oh my God. And I look up and there's like this huge like hawk that's flying, and I'm like, guys, there's a hawk, and everyone just lost it. I would get so distracted very easily. Okay, but okay, hold on. Let's see what other questions. Jeez, we've got a lot. Kuba says, fingers crossed for all the contests. Oh yeah, he's watching from Poland, and it's really late over there. So see you, Kuba. Lots more questions in the YouTube. Okay. Oh, geez, we got lots of questions in the YouTube. Hold on, let me read them. We got, he didn't really set up for a sequel. How long did it take you to fix it? Fix what? I might have something we were talking about. Oh, are you an actor getting paid, or is it voluntary? Answer wisely, Kenzie. If we win any money, you're getting paid. That's how we're gonna.
If we win, I get some money. But besides that, it was voluntary. But I did get paid in like a morning Starbucks or some pizza, so it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was fair trade for my time.
There's infinite snacks. Remember when we shot that stuff at the house? There was this table set up that it was like a kid's dream. There was like was candy, there was granola bars, there's water, there was like pizza from 2 places. There's all this stuff, and yeah. So there was definitely lots of food. Oh, and that one time my dad made like a whole buffet or something. That was crazy. So yeah. But if we win any money, because we're entering a bunch of contests, we can win lots of money. Then of course, Kenzie will get paid. But I think we got paid in the memories, didn't we?
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just kind of like hanging out with friends at the same time, eh? While working on something. It was cool. It's like hanging out with friends, but also making something. It's like working and also having fun. But yeah, anyways, you're getting paid eventually. Okay, next question. How long did it take you to figure? I still don't know what you're talking about. Unexpected gamer. These names are the best. Mackenzie, is acting a part-time thing or a fun thing for you, or is it a career thing for you? Ooh, good question. What are you thinking?
So, this was actually the first movie of any sort that I've ever been in. I've been in musical theater performances before this, but I never had like an actual acting role on a screen of any sort. So I would love to keep doing this because it was probably one of the most fun experiences I've ever had in my life. But I'm not really sure. I'm not sure where I will go with this, but for now, it's a fun thing that I would love to have as a career someday. I think it would be amazing. But
very good point.
Yeah.
Let's just wait for this movie to become famous, and then you will become full-time actor. Exactly. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, that's the dream. But next question. That dude said, "Take a picture of my car." Lol, that dude was high. Yes, he was. Remember that guy who said, "Take a picture of the car"?
I was trying so hard to cry in the scene. I was really like hyperventilating and everything. And I just remember being so overwhelmed, and then just hearing this guy yell about the car in the background, and being like, "Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?" He just snapped me out of the moment right away. Like, no, I was so into it, but it was pretty fun when it happened.
I remember this other guy came down who's like living like in the neighbor houses, and like I dabbed this guy up. He's like, dude, I've been seeing you guys shooting all day. And like we have this conversation, like yeah, and we like exchange Instagrams. And this guy was respectful. He was like, dude, I'm gonna watch this movie when it's done. I'm like, hell yeah, dude, we're shooting an important scene. He's like, okay, peace out. So we had two interactions. Plus there was cars passing whatever. Oh, that was too bad. But that was funny with the guy. Okay. Next question. This question to I could just see this channel get 100K in the next 5 years. Good one. This question to Mackenzie. What your favorite scene to do? What your favorite scene to do? Wow, what kind of answer? Well, no, that was the funnest to film, but what was your favorite scene to do?
I really like doing the scene where we're in Grant's like room, because I remember having the script and you guys saying, okay, here are your lines, say your lines, and when I said it, it just didn't feel genuine at all. Like it felt I was reading off of a script. So essentially, you guys had said, well, just explain to me your relationship with Serena. Just tell me, how did you guys meet? And I came up with this whole backstory that we were able to use for that scene. And it just felt like I was Michelle in that moment, and it was so cool. And so I think that was probably my favorite scene to do. Okay,
cool. That was a good answer. Good answer. Hold on. Next question. Kenzie, what was the most challenging part of making the movie? Wow. So we said favorite, but what was the most challenging part?
The most challenging part of the movie was definitely that last scene when I was trying to cry. I remember feeling so upset that I wasn't able to cry. The wind was blowing, my eyes were dry as could be. I was trying the yawning technique, nothing was working. And so in the end, I just ended up hyperventilating.
Which was pretty sick.
I almost feeling my entire body, my head started to feel super light, like the entire thing just ended up feeling like I wasn't even there. I remember a lot of the cast members the next day were like, oh, what happened? And I could not tell them. I had no idea what happened when we were filming that scene. So I think that was probably the hardest one for me to film because it was like physically and emotionally the hardest one to get through. But I think it ended up being pretty cool.
There you go. Okay. Hardest scene to do. Yeah, that was a pretty hard scene to do. Hold on. What's the next question? We got. Okay, we answered the. Oh, damn! You took my question. Who was okay? Then a new question. Who was the goofiest on set? Ooh, good question. I don't even know the answer to this. Who's the funniest person on set? I think everyone was kind of funny at one point or another in their own way.
Yeah, it's a hard question because.
Like, okay, I think the person who's most unlike their character is probably Aiden.
100%.
Because, like, you know, in the movie, Aiden is kind of like this, like, oh, you know, like, quiet kind of guy who's like, oh, I need to tell you something, blah, 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 blah. But, like, behind the camera, Aiden is, like, laughing and, you know, saying all this funny stuff and, like, you know, very, like, kind of, you know, upbeat kind of energy and, like, talking about hip-hop and all this stuff. And yeah, I'd probably say it would be him. But everyone had their own, like, kind of funny thing that they would bring, I think. Like Mark would always like make the stupidest jokes and like laugh, and then yeah, who else was there on set? Yeah, obviously Jonah and Gabe had some funny moments. I think everybody had funny moments. My answer would probably be Aiden.
I think you're all pretty funny.
Okay, true.
You would make little jokes while we're filming, and there's some in the bloopers, and I just will watch those bloopers over and over again just to laugh at the jokes you're making because they were so funny. But as for the goofiest, I think it would definitely be Aiden who was the goofiest on the set.
True.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good answer. Good answer. I think I agree. Okay, next question. Okay. Ooh, from Max. Max, our GOP. He says, Kenzo, how did you relate to Michelle?
Okay, so this was it's a hard question. It took a lot of time for me to really develop Michelle and kind of turn us into like the same in a sort of like relation kind of way. So I related to her in that you see it in the first scene, how she's really trying to be in with everybody else. She's asking to go to this party and she wants to bring her friend James, and you can tell that she's kind of not really in with the crowds, but she's trying. She's trying her best, and she's trying to get past what the things that have happened to her in her past and kind of develop herself as a person now. And I think that was how I related to Michelle the most, because I always felt like I was kind of an outsider, and at the same time, I was always trying to develop myself and move past things that have happened previously. And so because of that, I really was able to relate to Michelle in that aspect. And besides that, I did also love just the way she was kind of sarcastic with a lot of the things that she was saying. And she was kind of a little bit aggressive sometimes, the things that she would say. And it was, I don't know, she just was really great to play. And I really did, at the end, feel like she had become a part of me. And so, yeah, I definitely related to Michelle in more ways than one. So, yeah.
Very good answer. Very good answer. Very good question also, Max. Glad you are watching. Kenzo, did you like your character? What? Kenzo, did you like your character? Would you trade your place with her? I don't know if I would want to trade places with her. She has a pretty messed up past.
I liked her. I liked the vulnerability that she had. I liked just her as a person. I feel like she's someone I would have probably gotten along with in real life, and therefore I left her. But I don't think in 100 years I would want to trade places with her. I think I'm happy where I am, and she can have these traumatic events that have happened to her. She can keep those, and I'll just stay myself. I don't need to trade places with her. That's okay.
Very good point. Very good point. I think I would agree with that. Really, I would not want to trade places with anyone in the movie. So they all kind of get damned at the end, eh? Like in their own way. You kind of get the short end of the stick, but so does Aiden because he's not happy. The only one who's happy is is the gardener, is Diana. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, the villain gets what they want. Okay. Unexpected gamer. Did you end up taking the picture? Also, I was saying, how long did it take you to film with the fails and redos? Oh yeah, so like how long would it take? Like how many false takes would we have where we have to like start over? There weren't really all that many. I mean, the thing is that all of the actors, I think, especially you, and obviously Aiden and Mark and everybody, pretty much every take was usable. There were some moments where, you know, somebody messed up or somebody forgot a line. But the thing the thing about making movies is that you think that there's all these takes, but the camera is really only rolling for like what, 10 minutes or whatever, or 20 minutes for like one scene or something like that, right? So I don't know what percentage of them would be like messing up. I don't remember anyone messing up all that much. I mean, I guess there were some, but obviously you don't see them in the movie, so I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I felt that usually we would do 3 takes, and of the 3, the third one would be the best. We'd probably have someone laugh in the first one or something go wrong. The second one was okay, someone might have forgotten a line, and then we do the third. We'd be like, oh, this was great, we could use this. And so we do about 2 to 3 more to make sure that we would have a take that was 100% useful for the film.
True.
So I'm messing up a lot, but I feel like it usually took about 1 take for all of us to kind of be like, let's really get in the head space, understand what's going on now, let's just go with it.
Yeah, true. It does take a little while to get into a groove of like, you know, like remember the rule is like give it nothing, right? Because you think that acting is like giving it everything, but like after like it takes a little while, whether it be rehearsing or whether it be on camera, to just kind of like calm down and be like, okay, like let's stop pretending and let's, you know, get into it. But I don't think the thing is that even those takes where the first few takes sometimes would use too. Oh, Aiden sent a request to join the video. Let's do it. Hold on, wait. How do you do this? Where is Aiden at? Okay, we will have him join. We will have him join too. How do you do this? How do you? Aiden, can you send it again? Also, hold on. Let me read some of the other things in the meantime. Aiden sent a request to join. How the hell do you do this? Does anyone know how to do this? How to join Aiden into the video chat? Come on. Anyways, Aiden, try to send it again. The next question is, well, it's more of a comment, but Timmy says, I feel like you guys are doing a book report right now and explaining everything like you were that character. Very, very insightful comment, Timmy. I guess at the end of the day, it is all kind of just fun and games, right? Like you think, you know, make a big deal or whatever, but no, at the end of the day, we're just kind of playing around, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, at the end of filming it, you really do become that character. Like I remember fully having to be like, okay, get rid of all my like Michelle mannerisms that I just developed out of nowhere, and let's really just kind of get back to the person I was before I had kind of developed Michelle as a character. So as much as I'm not Michelle, she does feel like she's a little bit of a part of me as well, which I think is pretty cool.
Very good point. Very good point. I don't see Aiden here. I guess you sent it before, but then left. But Aiden, if you come back, join us. Okay, another question on the YouTube. Did you end up taking the picture? What picture? We took the picture with the horse. Maybe that's what we were talking about. Well, I don't know what he means by did you end up taking the picture? But anyway, next question. I just wanted to say one day you will be successful in life and Jesus loves you. Thank you, Johnny Scats. Who is your favorite character? And with the film, did you change something mid-scene or were you always certain? Ooh, very good question. So first, who is your favorite character? I mean, obviously your favorite character is probably you, right? That's just
Sometimes.
true.
So to watch. Just kind of see her happen.
Okay, for me, okay, I'm not even trying to give like the whole like kind of answer, the safe answer, but I genuinely love all the characters. Well, first of all, because I wrote them, and it's like, what? I can't pick a favorite child, but it's just like I feel like all of them kind of add up. I don't know, to something in the movie, right? It's like you need Grant there, and Grant's like kind of wit and like he's got this kind of like attitude of like, okay, getting things done and like sneaking around, and you're rooting for him in that sense. But then you've got Kenzo's character, who's just got this like, you're just scared for her and you feel bad for her and you want her to get over this and you want her to like do this, and she just has, your character probably has the most like backstory or whatever. But then there's Aiden's character, who just like, it's just so like quiet and almost like doesn't take a step into like the foreground of like doesn't really want to be all that hurt and doesn't really, make all that much trouble. He just wants to help where he can, but in the end of the day, when the going gets tough, he just kind of says, well, all right, I guess I'm just gonna go with the girl, right? And then of course you need Diana too, because she freaking kills it, and you've got everybody, right? Yeah, so that's like, yeah, so I know that's probably the safest answer, but I love all the characters. But you're probably the most well-written character, because you've got it all, and you really killed it. And all the performances are great too. I don't think anyone was better than anybody else, because everybody just has their own way of like acting, right? Like Mark kind of has this thing where like he can go into a room and like, we're like, the cameras are rolling, and we're like, okay, Mark, you gotta move. Like, we're doing this, and he's just like, okay, I got it. And he just moves, and he just gets it done. And we're like, look here, and he looks there, and he looks, and like, he just like, it clicks, Like that sort of like a, moving around in a space and doing this. Whereas Aiden, every line of dialogue he says, and like facial expressions, and like, kind of like reacting to what somebody else is saying, sounds like he's freaking saying it from the heart. And it's just like, like, he's like building it up, and he's got this like thing, that he's just like, like he's got that thing where it's like, oh, I need to say something or whatever, and blah blah blah, and so yeah, I think that's, and then you, of course, you've got this natural thing where it's just like looking at you and just like seeing how like you react to something, and just like the way you like say stuff and just like react to information, and just like you've got the Michelle look that we came up with, where like, oh, you gotta do like this. That just like gets me every time. It's like, oh my god, right? Like it's so good. And then everybody has that. Everyone who I've worked with and everything, right? Everyone's got their own kind of special flavor that is needed, that like is their own way of acting, which is really cool. I don't know. Okay, next. Oh, the picture they were talking about was the picture of the car. Did we end up taking the picture of the guy's car for the Instagram? No, we did not. Okay. So hope that answers your question, Unexpected Gamer. Super Taco 32. Oh, we already answered that. Who's your favorite character? With the film, did you change stuff mid-scene, or were you always certain? Well, yeah, I think with a lot of stuff, like you said, we kind of just changed things while we were doing it. Like you said, it's like we had some stuff written in the script, and we run through it a bunch of times, and we're just like, this line is just so cringe. Like, why can't we just get rid of it? We're just like, what would you say, right? And you were like, oh, I'd say this. Like, there was this really terrible line. I remember it was so bad. Like when you were like packing up to getting ready to go like to the party, and it's like, oh, yeah, Gabby's coming. Oh, change of plans. She's throwing a year-end jam, and everyone's gonna be there. And like you show like some of the money and the booze, and you're like, we're gonna kick this off Scarface style. And it's like, what? What human says that? And it's like my take. We're just get rid of this like stupid stuff and just like say what needs to be said. But yeah, so a lot of stuff changed. That's actually everything changes. That's the things. Even from the beginning of like the first idea you have, to the first draft of the script, to what you shoot, to what your first draft of your edit, to your last draft of the edit is like totally different movies, right? Which is awesome in many ways because it's like you get to make the same movie, but like different times every time, and every time it gets better. But at the same time, you kind of have to like, let go of things that you really liked before because it's better for the story. For example, the cat. For example, some other scenes that we shot that were cool that had to get cut. Or locations that I wanted to use that I never got to because the story didn't call for it. Okay. We talked about who's the favorite character. With the film, did you have changes mid-scene? If a movie company would offer you a job, what company would you like to go for? This is for both of you. I don't know. I mean, anybody at this point.
Yeah, is that desperate to say?
Yeah.
I just accept anything.
I mean, like, okay, like, if we're talking, like, companies that have made the coolest movies, like, Universal has done a lot of great stuff. Like, and like, Paramount, but I think they own Paramount now. Like, I would rather it work for, like, Universal or, like, Paramount and get a deal with them rather than, like, Disney or something, right?
Yeah.
Or, like, A24, but no way. Like, they've got some cool stuff. They, like, do, the newer stuff. They're like, but yeah. Anyways, yeah. At this point, whatever. Any movie company, even if it's one you've never heard of, you get to make more movies. Okay, we got more questions here. What are you saying to message Aiden? Oh, we should message Aiden. I see. Oh, Mark is on. Mark, do you want to join the thing? Respond if you want to join, Mark. But in the meantime, let's answer some more questions. We say, hi, Kenz, from Elish Conaway. Elish Conaway says hi. Okay. The picture of the car. Kenzie just watched the movie and you're amazing, crazy talented. I know, right? Did you guys run into any obstacles during production? If so, how did you overcome them? Wow, many. Like, what's a good example? I mean, there was so many. That's the thing is that, like, there's so many that you run into that's, you just have to, like, quickly make changes. Some that you don't even know about, like the box was originally supposed to be a drawer, right? It's supposed to be, like, this drawer that she opens, and then you get the shot from below the drawer of it opening or whatever. And, like, it'd be a drawer. But then, obviously, we, like, set off getting the props until the last minute. So, like, the day before we're shooting, me and Max are driving around Kitchener, going from Value Village to Value Village, and we're like, okay, none of these guys have drawers, and you just see this box, and we're like, oh, what if it's a box, dude? It's, you can move it around, whatever, so it's like, okay, well, it's a box now, right? And, obviously things have to change with that. Even when you're shooting a scene, like I said, with, like, the lines of dialogue, it's just, like, you realize, okay, some of the stuff that you wrote was just really, really bad. Like, obviously, you think it's good when you're writing it, but then it's like, okay, like, no human would say this. So it's like, okay, well, I guess we got to change it, right? And then there's just, things like changing shots. Like, there's all these ideas of, you're going to have, like, 50 shots and, this angle, this angle, this angle, and you decide, okay, well, we don't have the time, and it's just easier to get it in one shot, get it in master, and get close up or whatever, and do this and this and this. And just, yeah, I think that, like you said, there was that whole thing, like, where, like, you're describing the whole, like, oh, police dog, blah, 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 like, you're saying, like, the backstory, like, where you just completely went off script, and it's like, okay, like, let's just say what you would say, right, the story. All right, I'm trying to think what else. Like, the stuff inside the house, like, that conversation didn't change too much. I think that, obviously shot stuff changed there. And, but in the edit, that changed a lot. Like, the other really cool thing about, like, editing is, Mark sent a request. Hold on, I'm going to finish answering this question, but yes, Mark, I shall let you in a second. But, the thing about, what do you call it, is like, when you're in the edit, you're like, okay, this is not really working in the script. So you take different parts of the conversation and you can shift them around. Like, for example, in the scene where, what do you call it? Like you were describing, where you have that backstory and Mark is like, oh, what happened before you two went to sleep? Originally, it played off in a completely different order, but then I just like switched the order so it was more tense. Or the stuff like in Diana's house went through so many like different iterations, and then originally she went crazy, and she says at the end she was like, she says, now why don't you get out of my house before I carve your fucking face? And it's like, what? And then she says, get the fuck out of my house. And it was just like, it went so crazy. But then when you're editing it, it just came so far out of left field that like when we're showing it to people, and even just me rewatching it after putting it off for some time, it's like, whoa, maybe it's better if you like do it more subtly and change the conversation so that less is said, right? And that happens. Okay, we are now letting Mark in. Oh, where is he? Did he leave? Mark, join. Oh, Gabby is here. Hey, squad. Hello, Gabby. Gabby did the makeup. And Gabby is my cousin. And yeah, she did the makeup, and she was also in the movie. She was on the FaceTime call. Remember? So in the original script, there was no FaceTime call. It was just the movie just kind of started with her already stealing the money. And she also stole like alcohol in the beginning. But then it was just like, okay, we need to have a better introduction to her character. Okay, Mark is now going to join the thing. Ready? Going live with Mark. Let's see. So now, Mark should be joining now. Is he in? He's in. Mark is here. Okay, everyone, this is Mark. Mark's here. Also, YouTube people, Mark is here. Mark played Grant in the movie. And he's also in Bootless Grief. He played Reggie in that movie. It's a great movie too. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions for Mark, go ahead and ask them. But yeah, I guess I'll start off with the first question, Mark. What was your favorite scene to shoot for the movie?
That's a tough one. Probably going upstairs.
Yeah, that was fun, eh?
Tense, and the lighting in that room was nuts. That whole room just looked sick. And sick set. And then that was where the crazy foot scene took place. So that's like the scene everybody's talking about. It's the creepy one. Right?
Oh yeah.
So.
Good point. Okay, we got some questions. Also, Taylor's question is great. Or we'll send this to you, Mark, too. But it says, yeah, Mark's got some fans. Mark, how are you so sexy in all of the scenes? Yeah, very good question. It says, can I have your autograph, Mark? The movie was awesome. Production 2 was great. Okay, this is a great question that Taylor asked. Taylor also helped a lot with the script and gave very good feedback. So send her some love in the chat, too. She's here and she's watching. Oh, wow, we have lots of viewers now. Hello, everybody. But, okay, good question she asks is, what is everyone's plans after high school? Well, Kenzie already graduated high school, and Mark graduated also, and I'm graduating this year. So, I don't know, what are your guys' plans for the future? Way to put you guys all on the spot, eh?
Well, right now I am at Laurier for a Bachelor of Music, specializing in like opera right now. So that's kind of has nothing to do with the movie, to be honest. But ideally, I think I would like to do something in film after university at some point, whether it's just being in anything at this point, any like commercials, or I would love to do another movie of like Nick's. But I would love to just keep doing acting at some point. But as of right now, my like more calm plan is to be a music teacher.
Very good. Let's do it. Music teacher. Mark, what about you? Any ideas?
No clue.
Me too.
In
But
school right now, and just taking it day by day, really.
day by day.
But these comments are amazing.
Yeah. Look at this. Antosh says, will you allow Mark to use a Russian accent? Mark, show us your Russian accent. Do it.
You want me to do Russian accent right now?
Oh my god. Also, Mark in the Bootless Grief did the best Southern accent ever. It was I had no idea. I remember when we were shooting that movie, it was like, oh my god. So yeah, Mark is a man with accents. We have not used that yet. Okay, I have some questions on YouTube too. Okay. Who's the youngest on set and who's the oldest on set? Very good question. I think Mark, you're older than Kenzie. Kenzie is.
Diana's the oldest.
Yeah, okay. Obviously, Diana's the oldest. I think Mark is older than Kenzie. Is Aiden older than you, Mark, or younger?
I think he's younger than Mark.
Yeah, it's okay.
He's younger than Mark.
So out of the main actors, Mark is the oldest, then Aiden, then Kenzie, and then I'm the very youngest. I am still 17, going on 18. So that's how it worked. But the people behind the scenes, it gets more complicated because there's Jonah, who's like probably your age, Kenzie, right? And then
I think so.
Gabe is, I think, 2 years older, so he's Mark's age. Is he? I forget. Anyways, but yeah. So I guess we should probably make a comprehensive list at some point in time. But I don't feel like doing that right now. How is the whole pandemic affecting your work progress? Good question. Because when we shot it, that was like what's it called? The first time when we when the things lifted. So every time we would go on set, we would have like the heat thermometer thingy that would check like your temperature, and it would be like, oh, well, nobody had COVID first of all, so that's great. But yeah, we had that, and we wore masks except for the actors. But towards the beginning, we didn't because masks still weren't mandatory, right? And a lot of the stuff outside, we didn't have to wear them. But all the stuff in the house, we wore masks, and we had all these. Max had this like COVID kit. Remember that? He would like carry it around. And he had like all the hand sanitizer and that heat gun thing. He was in it. He had all this stuff. And then towards the end, when people started like making it, oh, okay, masks are mandatory and like this, and more rules came out, and the CPAT guidelines came out, we were like, okay. So when we were shooting the stuff with the tent, that was later, which was a very different process because it was all inside, and that was a lot more like, COVID-y. But in terms of like editing and writing, COVID has been also good for like, having a bunch of time to do whatever, to just kind of work on stuff and not have to focus on school. Okay, who's the youngest? Who's the oldest? Yeah, we already answered that question. Okay, other questions we have.
Lots of comments about Mark.
Yeah, lots of comments about Mark's. The movie was awesome and the production too was great. I wish you guys added in a sex scene or two. Nonetheless, though, it was great. Question for Mark. Could he possibly bust it down RQ? What's RQ? Is that like real quick? Bust it down real quick. I need it.
It takes a while, so it'll take too long for the slide.
Okay.
I gotta warm up and then,
There you go. I need a sequel. We've already talked about this. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's worth a sequel. Antosh is also telling me I need to do sequels, but I don't know. I'd like to do a movie with like all the same actors and all the same cast, but I think it would be different characters, right? I don't think that we could do an In the Weeds too. It's like I said, I think the story's done, right? Like Mark, you died.
Yeah.
Kenzo is scarred for life.
So that's the end. Everyone hates Michelle. So.
Yeah, everyone hates Michelle. James has finished his thing, and Diana keeps on going. So I don't know. I don't think we could do a sequel, but the next movie, hopefully, will have everybody still in it. So in that sense, we will have a sequel. I mean, if you guys are free and if COVID allows. But there you go. I believe in you, Kenzie. Hell yeah. Danny IXII. Love for Kenzie. I believe in you, Kenzie. Eva Wojciechowski. Question. Mark, how do you always get yourself into a sunset scene? Oh yeah, good question, eh? So in the other movie, A Bootless Grief, which is also on the YouTube channel if you guys want to watch it, Mark was in this really awesome sunset scene, which is one of my other favorite scenes I've ever shot. The thing about so Bootless is great, but the thing about Bootless is that when I was editing that movie, there was one scene at the end, that sunset scene, where I was like, whoa, I made something that like can give you kind of an emotion, and I was like, whoa, that's kind of sick. And I started, reading more about like story structure and like thinking about how you can write in themes and doing all this stuff and like do metaphorical stuff. And I think Max said it best, where he said, Bootless has one of those moments, but this movie probably has 4 or 5 of those kind of moments where it's just, it kind of makes you think, and it's got like this kind of like chilly feeling that you get. Like the bike scene, it just has this like weird peacefulness, but also kind of creepiness to it. My favorite scene, which is probably the favorite scene I've ever done, is when you and Kenzie are looking up at the house and you hear the Michelle, Michelle, and Grant disappears. There's just something about the way the music works and just pulses and the way the whistling goes and how we cut back to Sabrina in the tent and then we do the jump cut to Mark and it's like they're the same person and it's just like it's just so cool. And it was just awesome that I could be able to do this and like do basically the ending of Bootless Grief, but on crack. Like, and you guys have gotten, and all the actors, especially Mark, you've gotten so much better too. And just everybody, Kenzie, you're friggin'. I remember the first movies I ever made. It would take so long to, get everybody and we have to do everything. But like, you guys were just boom in it. Like everybody gets it, There was hardly even any explaining to like do, right? It would be like, okay, let's go, right? Like I said, there's very little of trying to like have to explain. Although I did try, and there are some scenes in over like when you watch the takes where it's just like, oh, try it like this and like this and like this, and like saying a bunch of stuff that's kind of redundant. It's like, okay, why are you saying this stuff? But yeah, like in the end, it was yeah, you guys just can do it. You guys just have this natural energy for it. All of you, best actors, I'm telling you. Okay, we got more questions. Oh, first, a comment we have. I love the bike scene. Thank you, the main M. You see this? Yeah, they agree with me on the bike scene. That's the other thing, is that every viewing is different, right? I've had some people tell me the bike scene is their favorite. I've had some people, that's the thing, I showed it to like the family the other day. I said this, but their favorite scene was like, they were the most shocked that when you took the meat out of the bag. And I was like, what? That was scary? That certainly wasn't scary when we shot it. And like, other people's favorite scene was just like the beginning when the music comes over the rat shot, or just like when like the music gets trippy and then like, yeah, other people, like when I showed it to you guys for the first time, yeah, they saw it before all of you guys, but when I showed it to you guys, it was like, there was comments and people were like, oh, this scene is great and this is cool and like, oh, this is awesome. But when it got to that scene where Mark, you were like picking the lock and Kenzo and Aiden were on the bike and chasing the car and it's like call Grant and all of that is going on, it was just complete silence in the room. And I was like, oh my God, like I did my job right. And it's like, I'm so like happy that the movie can have, a bunch of scenes that work on this level. So yeah. Anyways, that's, I forget what the question even was. I just kind of went on a tangent. But okay. What? Oh my God, we have lots of questions here. Can me, Andres, Danny, Mark have an orange type movie scene? Yeah, we're gonna do it. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we got. Oh shoot! I pressed the button again. Okay. How many festivals? You already answered that. I'll be pushing. Thank you for thinking my energy is goated. It was a pleasure to watch. Kenzie, can I have your autograph? There you go. There you go. Yo, Nick, respectfully look at my question. Yo, let Kenzie talk. Let's do it. Let's do it. Kenzie, talk. Yeah, you're right. I just kind of talked for the longest time. That's a good point. Yeah, sex scene from Mark. All right, we'll get it in the next movie. All right, Kenzie, what do you want to talk about? And Mark, to you too.
I actually have a pretty funny story about something that happened on set that I guess I can share.
Go for it.
So, Marilyn, who played Diana, as I mentioned before, was probably like the sweetest little old lady I've ever met in my entire life. Like when I first arrived, she's like, "Hi, darling, I'm gonna be working with you." Like just the cutest little thing. And then I remember at the script and pulling me aside and going, how do you say the F word? How do you say the F word? And I was like, and she was like, I've never said the F word before. Can you, like, how would I say it? Is it like this? And she just started like saying it in a bunch of weird ways. And it was just her trying to figure out how to swear because she'd never sworn in her entire life, which I thought was pretty funny.
That's the scene she swore like a sailor, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we never use the swear in the end, eh? We never use the swear. Well, now we'll be able to get into more festivals with swear. But yeah, I just felt that it was kind of overkill. Okay, other questions we have. What do we have here? Kenzie, can we take a photo together? I want to shout out future kids how talented their mother was. Let's go. Sorry, Kenzie's taking. She's my girlfriend. Oh, sorry, Gabby has taken Kenzie. Hold on. There's also some stuff here that were questions. Who was the best executive producer? Oh, very good one. Who? Max versus Nathan versus Gabe. Now is the real question.
You want to answer that question?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they all kind of did their own. They did their own thing, right? Anyways, I don't know. What other questions do you have? Scenes that were your favorite to film. Something about a Fruit Loops video. Who was the best? If you were to change one thing. Oh, yeah, that's a good question. If you were to change one thing, what would you change? It could be anything. We'll do both of you. Kenzie.
So, if I were to change anything, I think I assume there's probably a limit that he was dated on, like a time limit, of course. But if I were to change one thing, I think it would have been interesting because James initially had this pretty cool backstory and like this like interesting relationship with Michelle. So if I were to change anything, I think I would have added more of the relationship between the two of them, which I thought was pretty interesting when we were filming it.
True. Good point.
That's literally it. Like, I don't know. I loved the film. I watched it. It's great. I was so proud to be a part of it.
That's a very good point. Very good point. Yeah, I think I need to work more on the whole love story stuff, eh? Yeah, there's some interesting stuff in there. Anyways, Mark, what about you? If you could change one thing, what would you change? It could be performance thing. It could be my thing.
Nick did such a good job of not the pronouns or anything, not the that.
But I'll say Mark.
It's hard to change anything there. Like that was really well done by you. But obviously I'd make myself survive. But so I wouldn't die, but maybe take out Marilyn or die instead.
Okay.
The whole plot.
True.
Yeah, exactly.
No big deal. Just as long as Mark lives.
Good point. Keep you alive. Very good question. Okay. All right. Peace out, Mark. Thanks for coming, man.
I'll go too.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it was really fun.
Thanks for having me, Nick.
It was great. I'm very happy that you guys were able to join us. Okay. I'll see you guys.
Congratulations on the movie. Like what you did. You just did an amazing job recording and editing and everything. Like the whole thing.
Oh
It's
yeah.
fun experience for us, and you do an excellent job in the end. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And thanks for being so supportive at every little piece along the way and always making sure that we were comfortable. No
Yeah.
matter what. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. It's been great, and we'll work on the next one, guys. Okay.
Yes.
I will see you then. Bye, guys.
Have a nice time to see you.
Bye.
Okay. There we go. Well, now it's just me, guys. The chat doesn't like me. Let them speak. That's a good point. I'm sorry. I kind of did talk about went on some crazy tangent for a while. But anyways, now you've just got me. If there's any other questions, I think there was a few that worked for me that I just kind of swept under the rug when I was talking to Kenzie, so I can scroll up and see what do we have. We had the cheeseburger one. What did you find? There was a question about film festivals, but I kind of answered that, which is that we entered to 20, I think, now. There's still a bunch of more. The other thing is I have to do, what do you call it? I have to do some more cuts, like a 20-minute cut, which kind of sucks because it's like, okay, what are you going to take out of the movie at this point? I guess there is some stuff. If you guys have any suggestions, put it in the chat. Because right now it's 22 minutes. Obviously, make the credits shorter as well. But what do you call it? I was thinking you could probably get rid of just a few lines and just, trim the fat off of some stuff. But I don't know what else to cut. Anyways, we have to make one cut that's 20 minutes long. Let's go. I'm going to go buy it on Blu-ray. I love you guys. It was amazing. All good, love you, man. Kisses. Thank you very much. Yeah, if it's on Blu-ray, I mean, I don't even know how to make Blu-rays. But yeah, anyways, if you make a Blu-ray, then sure, yeah, you can buy it. Why haven't movies recruited you as a film director? You're good at it. I don't know. There's a lot of people that are way better than me that probably, have gotten those jobs or whatever. But fingers crossed that, some big Hollywood executive will see In the Weeds or something, or read some script, or I don't know, and say, wow, cool, maybe we can give this kid a job. But I don't know, that probably won't happen for a while. So until then, I'm just making movies for you guys. Oh, I didn't share my plans after high school. A very good point, Taylor. After high school, I'm going to York University, I think. I got a scholarship there, which is cool. And then, fingers crossed, I'm gonna make a movie. So I'm getting better and better at making this stuff, I guess. And hopefully the next one I'll be able to make something that's even longer than this one. Maybe something that's half an hour or 40 minutes. I don't know. That's what people have been saying. Maybe I'll be able to handle it. But I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just make another one that's like 20 minutes or so, and it'll go there. But in terms of plans after high school, obviously, the dream is to make movies for a studio or something, make feature films. And obviously, fingers crossed, I'm going to do it. And obviously, I'm going to try to produce them all myself and, get everybody to work on it and, try my hardest and to do it. But, if it doesn't work out, then I guess it doesn't work out. I'll be happy with any other job in the movie industry, I suppose. Even if it's just smaller stuff, pulling focus, whatever, helping out on big sets, doing corporate work and stuff, I'll be happy with that. So those are my plans after high school. So right now I'm thinking of going to the York School just because it's, I don't know, it seems to be the best of both worlds. They got lots of good equipment, practical stuff, and lots of theoretical stuff. So yeah, that's the plan for after high school. But I guess I never know, right? Things can change very quickly. What else do we have here? We had some other questions. Who is the best executive producer? Lol, Nathan asked that. I don't know. I kind of asked that to the guys, but I don't think I have a favorite necessarily. All of them did their different parts. So Max, who's my uncle, taught me almost everything I know, and he's here right now. I'm sure he says hi. But anyways, so Max helped us out with a lot of stuff. I'm very grateful for all the stuff. I know you're watching, Max. And for the 1 millionth time, I thank you for everything. I would not be able to do any of this stuff without you. And then Gabe, who I met just probably a year ago, but it feels like we've known each other for our whole lives. And Gabe was great. He helped out with way early on, we would talk on the phone for a while and talk about the script and like talk about ideas, and like I gave him ideas for his stuff that he's writing a script now that whatever he really likes, and we just kind of bounce off each other like that. Gabe kind of has this type of energy that's like really interesting. And then Nathan, ultimate badass, who helped us out with a lot of stuff and gave us. He was great. He was probably the most like almost like practical kind of executive producer. He's like, okay, what do we need? We need to go to Walmart. Okay, you need to buy a fridge. Let's go. Let's go. Here. Oh, we need to buy snacks. All right, snacks are on me. Like, let's go. All right, let's get moving. All right, here. Let's talk about it. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, you need a driver. I'm a driver. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Right. And that was what Nathan was awesome at. So yeah. But anyways, all the executive producers did their own thing, and yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I can't really say who's my favorite because all of them were good in their own way. I have some more questions on the YouTube, but I think we're starting to slowly widen down. I love the bike scene. Did you drink energy drink mid-film? Oh, like you mean like the fact that like the energy like really goes up from halfway through? I guess so. That's the idea, right? I think Keegan was saying this the other day, but it has a really cool thing to it where it's like some Korean movies where in the midway through it, it's like, okay, suddenly it's got this burst and there's kind of like a big twist in energy that is just keeps you watching, right? So yeah, I guess I like that. But then again, but yeah, but did you drink mid-film? Maybe while I'm making it, I guess I have no energy too. I don't really know how to answer that question. Jonah says, thoughts on Paddington 2? I haven't seen it, believe it or not. I've seen the first one when I was a kid, but I've not seen the second one. But I heard that all of the film, guys say that it's great and whatever. And it's like one of the, all-time optimistic movies. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it. The last thing I saw that was good was La La Land. Great movie. I don't know if it's still running. Sorry, I just opened my letterbox. Oh, sorry, paused it. But yeah. Anyways, yeah. I think I've just about answered all the questions. And if you have any other questions, feel free to DM me or whatever. If you want to work on something in the future, shoot me a text, give me a call, whatever. We'll talk about it. This is the stuff that I love to do. So next movie I'll be working on for the next while, and I've already got some ideas. But yeah, this was fun to do. It's crazy how it just kind of started off as, a bunch of people had questions, and I said, oh, might as well go live and answer them. But if you have anything else to say, yeah, feel free to DM me. Yeah, this has been fun. And fingers crossed that we get somewhere with this movie, right? Who knows? Maybe we'll win some big festival and some Hollywood hotshot will see it and give us some money or something. Or, like the Unexpected Gamer said, maybe we'll get signed on with some film studio. But yeah, anyways, the movie will still be up for a while. I think the same link will work, but if not, I'll update it. So make sure to watch it if you haven't seen it. I'm really glad to have shared it with you guys. So I'm going to end the stream here. So thanks for watching, everybody. And yeah, I'll see you sometime in the future. And see you, YouTube. I just canceled the Instagram one. So to the 2 people who are still watching, thanks for sticking to the end. So yeah, I'll see ya.